Hey guys, want to do some makeup together just for fun of it? My dog is going off on my husband and my son because he wants snacks and they're not giving him any snacks. Okay. Let's get my beauty blender wet. Y'all want to do some makeup with me? So, we are going to use, hold on, let me get the stuff we're going to use. Okay. All right, cool. All right. All right. So, those are the products we're going to use. I just linked them in my TikTok shop down below. So, you can click that link if you would like to purchase what I'm using. So, we're going to start out with my eyes today. I was watching Miss Megan Robinson do an eye makeup look, and she starts with her eyes first. So, I'm going to start with my eyes first. So, let's do this. Okay. Hey guys, come on in. So, what I'm going to do with you guys today while we're doing our makeup is I'm going to tell you guys some motherfucking prison stories. So, buckle up, bitches, because story time is coming at ya. So, for those of you guys that don't know, what's up? My name's Nicole Pludre. I'm a person in long-term recovery. I've been sober for almost 9 years. I'll have 9 years sober July 13th. And I love to talk about drugs, addiction, recovery, prison, makeup, and so much more. And I have been inspired to talk about my prison experience by a girl I follow here on TikTok called Jen Gomez. If you guys don't follow her, type in Jen Gomez in the search bar, prison, and it'll pull up her account. So, let's get into this. For those of you guys that don't know, I did prison time. Okay? I did prison time. I went to prison in 2009, and I went to a prison in Pine Bluff, Arkansas. It was called RPF. Hey, Queen. You look so good. Thank you. I've lost 25 pounds, for those of you guys wondering. I went to a prison called RPF in Pine Bluff, Arkansas. Okay? We're also going to use, you guys, one of these glitters. They're linked in my TikTok shop. Buy one. Go buy one right now. They're only $4, bro. Okay, they're only $4. They're cheap. Okay. So we got that base down. Now we're going to set it with some translucent powder. Okay. So I went to prison in 2009 for possession of a controlled substance, methamphetamine. I was addicted to meth, oxy, Rent-A-Center. I don't rent my furniture, honey. I bought it all cash money. So you're in the wrong live, honey. Honey, I don't buy shit on credit. I learned not to do that a long time ago. So, why did I go to prison? I went to prison because I had possession of methamphetamine, okay? Now, you're probably going, Nicole, that was your first time ever getting in trouble. Why would they put you in prison for possession if you had never been in trouble before? Great question. So they didn't immediately throw me in the clink, okay? They put me on probation for how many? I was on probation for about a year before I went to prison. Okay, let me tell you about my experience on probation. All right, my probation officer, we're going to do a cool toned look with these grays and stuff. My probation officer, y'all, she liked me. She liked me. I think she was a lesbian and she hadn't came out of the closet yet. Because, honey, anytime I came into her office, she would make me lift my leg up in the air so she could look inside of my vajayjay. And I would tell this woman that I was going to fail my drug test, right? Like, I wasn't lying. I wasn't trying to lie. Okay? I wasn't trying to lie. I would tell her, I'm going to fail my drug test for XYZ. And no matter what, dude, she would want to look inside of me. It was mortifying. Okay? So, I still to this day cannot figure out why this woman wanted to look inside of my punani. Alright? Because like I said, I wasn't hiding anything in my punani. I was telling her, I'm going to fail my drug test. Okay? Like, there was no reason for her to do that. Okay? So, every time I would go in there, and that made me, like, really uncomfortable. So, you can imagine every time I went in there to take a drug test, I would be really nervous. You know, I'd be really nervous. I'd be really scared. I know. I think it's, like, not allowed. Like, you're not supposed to be able to do that. You know? And so, every time I would go in there, I would be so scared. I would try to go pee, and my bladder would lock up every single time. And so that's why I would tell her, like, I've been doing drugs, I'm going to fail. And I was very honest. That's just the kind of person I am, you guys. Like, I'm not going to waste your time, and I'm not going to waste my time. If I'm fucking up, I'm just going to tell you I'm fucking up. You know? Now we're going to go into this color called Stone. It's a little bit of a deeper gray. So I kept on failing drug tests. I remember it was probably like my third or fourth drug test to fail. I came in and I told her, you know what I did? I got a prescription now, bitch, so you can't fail me, okay? So what I had done was I had went to a script doctor. And for those of you guys that are really young, you won't know what I'm talking about. But back in the 90s and the 2000s, there was these things called script doctors. Doctors that would write you a script for any amount of money. You just give them cash and they write you the script. So, I had went to this script doctor in Hot Springs, Arkansas, and paid him $200 to write me a prescription. And so that's what he would do. He would write me a prescription. So I told him, I said, I need Norco, I need Klonopin, and I need Somas. And so he wrote me a prescription for Norco, Klonopin, and Somas. And I walked out of there just as happy as a clam, honey. Well, I didn't know that when I went in to see my probation officer that she was going to tell me that I had to have the amount of pills in the bottle that were prescribed, right? Because, baby, the minute I picked up that prescription, I ate all them bitches. Honey, I was eating them bitches so fast. Now we're going into this deeper gray. I was like, I just ate them all. I ate them all. So basically, when I go to my probation officer, she looks at me and she goes, "Oh, so you got a prescription? I'm gonna need to count your prescription." Oh, shucky ducky! I was like, "What do you mean, count my prescription?" And she's like, "Yeah, I need to count how many pills you have in your prescription." Baby, now I'm caught up. So she counts my pills, and of course, there's not the right amount. I think I have like 1 or 2 left in each bottle, right? Honey, I was fucking mortified. So she looks at me and she says, "Listen, I have had it up to here with you. And I'm going to give you one more chance." And I was like, "Okay." she was like, now we're going to go into this deeper color right here. She was like, I'm going to send you to treatment. Okay? I'm going to send you to rehab, and you're either going to get sober or you're going to go to prison. And I was like, okay. Okay. So I was like, where am I going to treatment at? Because I had already been to all the treatment centers in Hot Springs, Arkansas. Okay, so I was like, where am I going to treatment at? And she was like, you're going to South Arkansas Substance Abuse Center in El Dorado, Arkansas. And I was like, okay. So my mom and dad, being the loving, amazing parents they are, they took me 4-hour drive to El Dorado and dropped me off at this treatment center. And when I got there, I remember I was high when I got there, of course. I was high on meth, oxys, Xanaxes. I had everything in my system. When they gave me that drug test, I lit that panel up, okay, honey? Because I had to go out with a bang. So I knew that I was fixing to go through it in this detox, right? I knew I was about to be sick as fuck. All right? Sick as fuck. So I get there, and they put me in this room with this girl. I'll never forget this girl, you guys. Her name was LC. Not Elsie, but LC. Like Lauren Conrad, but LC. I don't know what her real name was. I can't remember. But LC is what she went by. Me and this girl, we became thick as thieves. We had to have, because you'll never guess what happened to me. So I had been there for about 24 hours. And in the middle of the night, I woke up and my stomach was bubbling. It was bubbling, baby. That fucking, the detox shits were kicking in. Okay? And that shit was coming out of me, baby. It was coming out of me fast, quick, and in a hurry. So I got up out of the bed and I ran to the bathroom to go, hopefully I can make it. Next thing I know, diarrhea shit was flowing out of my asshole so fast I couldn't catch it, y'all. It was all over the floor. All over the floor. So I'm crying on the floor with a towel trying to mop my shit up, okay? And this sweet girl woke up in the middle of the night and she's like, baby girl, don't worry. And she calls the nurse. Yes, baby, I am the realist. Okay? She calls the nurse. She's like, just calm down. You're going to be okay, Nicole. And she calls the nurse. Now we're going to use this gray color right here. She calls the nurse and she's like, the nurse is going to take care of it. You're going to be just fine. And I'm like, okay. She calls the nurse in. The nurse comes in and she's like, baby girl, don't you even worry about it. I have seen way worse, and I'm sure it won't be the first and it won't be the last time. And the nurse was just so sweet. She said, y'all two go out there and get yourself a cigarette break. Because it was like midnight. All the other patients were asleep. She's like, y'all go out there and get y'all a cigarette break, and I'm going to get this room cleaned up, honey. And I was like, yes, ma'am. And so we went out back to smoke a cigarette. And this is my first time I had been out back to smoke a cigarette. So I step out back, and all of a sudden, out of the the dimly lit night sky, the moon was shining so bright, you guys, and the stars were shining, comes this little pack of basset hounds, walking over to me. 2 basset hound, a mommy and a daddy, and 7 basset hound puppies, ears dragging the ground. When I tell you guys, I mean, it made my fucking life. I was like, I am going to be okay. I'm going to be okay. Okay? I'm going to be okay. This place is going to help me. They have dogs. This is so therapeutic. Like, I'm going to be okay. And so I got down on the ground with my cool menthols, and I sat on that fucking cold asphalt, and I played with these little dogs when I smoked my cigarette, and just cried my eyes out, thinking in my mind, I'm going to be okay. I'm going to be okay. I'm going to be okay. And me and LC got up, and we went back to lay down. And the next morning when I woke up, I went outside to smoke a cigarette, and I sat on the linoleum or on the asphalt with them little Basset Hound puppies and played with them and loved on them, and I knew I was going to be okay. So it took me about 3 days before I started feeling better. You know, my detox was tough for me. It's because I was coming off a lot of fucking drugs. A lot of drugs, you know? And so coming off of all those drugs was not easy, but Elsie helped me through it. She was my cheerleader, you know, and I was hers as well. So when we finally both got out of detox, we were both like, hell yeah, we were happy to be in general population. You know what I'm saying? We were so happy to be out and about in the general population. Okay, now I want to show y'all this color. Oh my gosh. Okay, so let's stamp this on. So we get put in the general population with the rest of the rehabbers, and I did my 30 days. Now, you guys, at this time in my life, I had been dating this guy named Adam. And Adam, I was so worried about this guy while I was in treatment, because when I left, we had gotten into a big fight because he had been smoking crack, and I caught him. I caught him smoking crack in his truck when I was sleeping in the house, and he was supposed to be sleeping in the bed with me. And in the middle of the night, I woke up, he was downstairs smoking the crack-a-lacka. And I was so mad. I was so mad at him. I was so hurt. I felt betrayed, you know? I felt betrayed by him. So when I left to go to treatment, I was sad because I felt like I had kind of left him behind, you know? Well, halfway through my stay in treatment, I get a letter. Okay? A letter, handwritten letter to the treatment center. Okay? Not a lot of people knew I was there. Just Adam, my parents, and a couple of friends that I worked with at Rolando's, because I waited tables at the time. Now this is an oil slick eye. Let me show y'all. Looks like an oil slick. Let me show you in dim lighting, because I feel like the lighting in here washes it out. You can't even see how pretty it is, but it's like purple, green, blue. It's just really cool looking. Okay, so boop. All right, where's my, I need a wipe. I guess I'm gonna have to use a little bit of toner to get this off my face, because I got a few little straggler, thank you guys, a few little straggler glitters down here. Just want to get those off real fast. Okay, so I get this letter. Okay, I get this letter and I'm like, oh my gosh, who could this be from, right? I open the letter, you guys. We're gonna take this dark color, and guess who it was? Adam. Adam had written me a letter, basically telling me that he was going to treatment too. Basically telling me that he was going to treatment and then I would never see him again. You guys, this man went to Teen Challenge and I never saw him again. And when I tell you, I have thought about him so many times. Not in a way where I like miss him or anything like that. Just like, is he okay? What happened to him? That kind of thing, right? So, yeah, he went to Teen Challenge and I never saw him again. Isn't that crazy? So, I finished up my treatment program there. And right before I get ready to leave, I'm going to use this shit all the way up. Right before I get ready to leave, the treatment center is like, listen, yes, we really want you to stay here and move in to our sober living facility. We'll help you get on your feet. We'll help you find a job. Like all this stuff, right?
And which game night?
Not me, honey. I had to get the hell out of Dodge. I was like, no, I should have taken it. I should have stayed, and I should have went to Sober Living. This is the MAC primer, okay? I should have went to Sober Living, but I didn't. I was like, of course, you know, no, I can't go. There was nothing in Hot Springs for me. Nothing. No. But I wanted to go back to Hot Springs for some reason. I ended up going back to Hot Springs, you guys, and you'll never guess. Can you guess what happened? Can you guess what fucking happened? Oh, I bet you can. I get back to Hot Springs, and not even 30 days later, I relapse. And I'm back on drugs again. Baby, when I tell you, I knew right then and there I was going to the penitentiary. I knew I was going to prison. There wasn't going to be no pass and go. No collecting $200. No, oh, it's not a big deal. None of that. Okay? I'm going to prison. Okay? So, about a month went by, and then, of course, it was time for me to go take a drug test. We're going to use my brushes that I have linked in my TikTok shop. These are the BK Beauty brushes, you guys. They're so good. If you guys have a chance to get them, if you got a coupon or anything in the TikTok shop, I highly recommend them. They're really good. So, I end up relapsing 30 days, not even 30 days later. I go in to take a drug test for my probation officer. I tell her I'm going to fail. And she's like, okay, that's it. You're going back. You're going to prison. And I just remember in my mind, I was like, damn, holy shit. I've never been locked up before. I hadn't never even been to jail, y'all. When I got my charge, I didn't even dress out because the guy I was with got us out. Like, we didn't even have to do 10 minutes in jail. So it was like fucked up because I have never been before, you know? So now I know that not only am I going, but I'm going for at least a year. At least a year was going to be my sentence. So my probation officer puts a warrant out for my arrest. I had to go down to the jail, pay my warrant, and I had 30 days until my court date, until my sentencing, okay? So for the next 30 days, I am running amok, okay? I am running the streets. I am doing the most. I am getting as high as I can get for as long as I can get high. I am doing every drug known to man because I am trying to just not deal with the consequences, right? I do not even want to face the fact that I am going to be going to prison. I don't want to face the fact that I basically just threw my life away when I was given a chance. When I was given a chance to get and stay sober. When I was given a chance to go to rehab and get help. Okay? I'm really upset with myself. When I think back to this, I'm still upset with myself. So, I'll never forget when I had to turn myself in. Oh my gosh, I'm almost out of this. That's really awesome. I seldom use up anything, so that's really good. That means I really like this. This is the Fenty Beauty Matchstick in the color Mocha. So, I've actually used a whole other one of these before, but that was a couple of years ago. So, I'm proud of myself that I've gone through this. So, I think my court date was like November 15th. I'm pretty sure that was the date. I had to go to court, and I'm going to use that same BK Beauty brush, you guys, that I love. I love these brushes. I'm not just trying to sell you something that I don't use, okay? Like, these are all, I love them. They're really good. They're really good quality as well. I've had these for over a year. So, I have to go to court on November 15th, and I'll never forget it. I had been out all night getting fucked up, of course, and I had 7 bars in my coat pocket. And I go into the courtroom, and I had on a black pea coat And they sentenced me to a year in prison, and I swallowed those Xanaxes, and then I went up to the bailiff and put my hands behind my back, and he handcuffed me, shackled me, and took me to the jailhouse. I got to the jail. I got dressed out. I got patted down. I got checked. I got all that stuff. And then I go to the phone. I'm not crying. I'm just dealing with it. And I call my mom and dad.
Stop.
I said, Mom, Dad, my car is in the parking lot and the keys are in the gas tank because I stuck them where the gas tank's at, you know. Will you please come get my belongings in my car? And my mom said, yeah, we'll come get your stuff. And I said, I'm sorry. I'm sorry I didn't get sober. I'm sorry I didn't listen to you and Dad when y'all told me nothing good is going to come of this life that I'm living. I'm really, really sorry I didn't listen. And, you know, I love you. I love you. But this is the lesson I have to learn on my own. You know? So I went, my mom came, they got my stuff, and I sat in jail for the next 90 days. You know, jail's not bad. I mean, I can make a good situation out of a bad situation, and that's how you got to be when you go to jail, okay? You can go in there and you can be miserable and you can cry every day and you can complain and you can, you know, throw a fit and try to fuck with the guards, or you can make the best out of the situation. So that's what I did. I made the best out of the situation. I got to know the girls that I was locked up with. We fucking got to know each other. We started telling stories. We would stay up late at night and have like Storytime theater in one of the cells at the end of the fucking pod. So the way the pod is set up in Hot Springs, Arkansas is there's like cells all on one side and then an open area with a TV and a shower. And so there was this one cell that nobody was in at the very end of the pod that we would use as like a community cell, right? Like a cell where we could all gather in there and like tell our fucking war stories and shit. And bitch, that's exactly what we did. We gathered in there and we told war stories. We talked about all the dumb shit we did in active addiction. We helped each other pass the time, you know? Then one day I'm sitting in my cell. Now I had to go through withdrawal in jail. And one thing about me is that if I'm in jail locked up, to me it's a lot easier to go through withdrawal being locked up because you can't get out. And so your mind knows that you can't go and get drugs. And so I had no issues. I was fine. I went through withdrawal. It sucked, but I made it through it, and I was fine. So one day after I went through all my withdrawal, it was like 6 o'clock in the evening, right? I hear one of the girls, hey, DeMayo. That's my maiden name, DeMayo. Hey, DeMayo, come down here. You got a phone call. I was like, okay. So I walk over to the telephone and there's somebody on it. I'm like, what are they talking about? She's like, no, not that phone. Come down here. And she's calling me from the extra cell. Baby, there ain't no fucking phone in that extra cell. What's she fucking talking about? So I walk down there. I'm like, baby, what you talking about? There ain't no phone in here. Are you hallucinating? Y'all got a hold of some good shit. Who's holding out on me? Who ain't sharing the good shit, right? I walk down there and she's like, come down here. And she's sitting beside the toilet. She said, the toilet phone. And I'm like, what? And the next thing I know, I hear, hey girl, hey Nicole, from the toilet echoing in. And it is my friend, Philip Hefner, on the other end of the toilet phone. And I started laughing my fucking ass off. I was like, Phil, He's like, hey girl, what are you doing? I'm like, no, not much, just fucking, sitting here in jail. He's like, I love you, I hope you're okay, you got money on your books? I was like, yeah. And he's like, all right. And I sat there and I got to talk to my friend Phil for like 30 minutes on the telephone, the toilet phone. Hold on, y'all. Rocky wants to say hi. Come here, Rocky.
Yeah, he's running around like a crazy man.
Come here. You ready to say hi to everybody? Say hi. Say hi. No. This is my puppy dog, Rocky. Oh, Rocky Balboa. You licking my nose, you little snickle friend. You just got to keep pushing forward. You can't let that kind of stuff get to you. You got to be strong. I had 7 years of bad days, okay? Because I was eating really bad. Let me tell y'all something about recovery, okay? If you're in recovery and you are feeding your body toxic shit, you're eating processed foods, you're eating a bunch of sugar, you're eating a bunch of like bad stuff that's not good for you, that is going to affect how you feel. You have to eat healthy. You have to get outside and exercise. You have to move your body. It's such an integral, important part of healing your brain and recovery. So important. So important. Therapy for your mental health. Talking about what you're going through, not bottling it up inside. But let me get back to the story. Okay. So I'm talking to Philip on the toilet phone. I'm telling him how long I got to do, where I'm going. And, from that day forward, I knew I could talk to my friend Philip on this toilet phone. So that kind of gave me something to look forward to as well, So about 90 days went by, okay, of me being locked up. And then one day the guards walked into the pod and they said, hey, DeMayo, come on, get up. It's time for you to go. The toilet phone, the reason it worked is because of the pipes. The pipes would go through to the other side, the men's pod, and they connected the whole jail, and that's how we were able to talk to each other on the toilet phone. Isn't that crazy? Let me tell you one more story about being in that pod before we go on to the next story of me getting to prison. So listen, this one's really scary, okay? Thank you guys. I'm glad y'all are enjoying the stories. If y'all are enjoying my story, tap the like button. Check out my TikTok shop. Share this video with your friends. Do the things. So while I was there for those 90 days, one night, the guards brought in a girl. Girl couldn't have been more than 85 pounds, y'all. So tiny. Okay? 85 pounds dripping wet. Very, very, very thin, long, mousy brown hair, white girl. She didn't look emaciated. She was just very tiny. She was a tiny statured girl, right? Very tiny. She comes in the middle of the night, so I didn't get to see her come in, but when I woke up in the morning, she was there, and she was sitting against the wall all by herself, like really scared looking. So me, being the person I am, I'm like, hey girl, what's up? What's up? My name's Nicole. What are you here for? And she was like, I got a DWI or a DUI. I was like, oh shit, that sucks. I'm addicted to drugs, meth, I was telling her a little bit about my story and how I got locked up. And she was telling me, oh no, I'm not addicted. I'm not an alcoholic, right? And I was like, okay, whatever you say, you don't just get DWIs because you don't have a problem, right? And I was like, okay, you don't have to be an alcoholic. I'm just, that's fine. And I was like, I'll help you, girl. What do you need help with? Are you okay? Like, you could tell she was totally out of place. She didn't know what to do. She was scared. She was crying. It was just, I felt bad for her. And so I was like, you need some snacks? I got some commissary, you know, we get lunch at this time, we do this at that time, you know, why don't you come down here to the community cell, which was the cell at the end that I told you guys about, and come sit in here and just hang out with us. We're going to be telling war stories. We're going to be cackling and clutching our pearls, right? Just talking shit, you know, laughing and shit. And so I took her down to the community cell with me with the other girls who like to talk shit. And we were sitting down there laughing and telling war stories and, you know, talking about boys and, you know, talking about what we're going to do to our man when we get out and all that kind of crazy shit, right? And so this girl, I could tell that she was really, really struggling. Just like she looks really, really uncomfortable and sad and depressed. And so, but I was like, but she wasn't showing no signs of like DTs or anything like that. She didn't look like she was, you know, coming off alcohol where she was going to, you know, having the shakes or nothing like that. So I was like, you know, I think she's going to be fine. Well, in the middle of the night, the whole day went past, and in the middle of the night, all of a sudden I woke up in the middle of the night because I heard somebody kind of like screaming, and then I heard water sloshing around, like splashing, like somebody was wading through water and like splashing it, and you know, and I heard somebody yelling, the rats, get the rats. And I'm like, what the hell is going on? You know, like, are there rats in our cells? Like, I'm kind of getting like a little worried. So I hopped down off my bunk, and my door always stayed popped. It wasn't locked because the door was fucked up and you couldn't lock it, or else I wouldn't be able to get out. Not even the guard could get it out. So I had a cell that stayed open. Okay.